Hi, my name is Chrissy Reichert. I'm a current student at Indiana State University in the Doctorate in Athletic Training program. I decided to do my practice-based research on my own population. I'm a current Division I athletic trainer working for a women's basketball program. So what I wanted to do was I noticed that we were having a lot of injuries, and although basketball is technically considered an upper and lower extremity dominant sport, I have a lot more lower extremity injuries than I do upper extremity. And a lot of those injuries were due to poor landing, poor cutting, poor biomechanics, or poor jumping. And a lot of them were non contact. So it was kind of my inspiration for this project, and that I wanted to see how their landing patterns change throughout a college basketball season and ways in which I can use this information to build a prevention program. So I used 8 participants. Unfortunately, if they had a lower extremity injury throughout the season or testing that resulted in time lost, then they were excluded from the study. I ended up using the single leg landing error scoring system, which has fair inter-rater reliability and pretty good test retest reliability. It's performed jumping off a box with one leg and then doing immediate vertical jump, and I video analyzed them. I did Each participant had one session. One was during preseason, then another in season, another in postseason. So everybody did 3 sessions, and then I analyzed their differences. What I found that on average, not statistically significant, but on average, preseason had the worst scores, in season had the best scores, and then it gradually declined into postseason. So the only statistically significant difference I found was in the left leg primarily, and from preseason to in season only. So looking at this data, as you can see, this picture is a good representation of what we commonly see in participants when they're landing from a jump. The current trend right now is that we do broad strength and biomechanical training. We do jump training, and that's through your strength and conditioning or your coaches. And then they have an injury, and then it ends up athletic training. We're rehabbing injuries and fixing biomechanics to prevent the re-injury when we could have just taken care of that with a prevention program. So instead, what this shows us is that we have the ability to identify unique deficits and compensations that somebody might have in order to understand their injury risk, in order to implement a specialized prevention program to fix their poor biomechanics before the injury occurs. So right now, it's really neat of an idea. I'm building a prevention program off of this for the next athletic trainer that comes in to take my place. And the great thing about it is that we can see the trends throughout the season and then adjust accordingly. So I encourage you all to give this a try in your own populations. Thank you. Hi, my name is Chrissy Reichert. I'm a current student at Indiana State University in the Doctorate in Athletic Training program. I did my traditional research project on the correlation between self-reported function and clinician-measured function in individuals with chronic ankle instability, and this was a pilot study. So what we ended up doing is we had 12 individuals that self-identified as having chronic ankle instability in either one or both legs. What we did was they brought them in for 2 sessions. The first one took care of all the inclusion criteria and the informed consent. So the inclusion criteria consisted of previous number of ankle sprains, episodes of giving away, Cumberland Ankle Instability Index, and the Ankle Instability Index. Once they passed the inclusion criteria and it was confirmed that they had the minimum for having ankle instability, they came in for a second session. They completed 4 different patient-rated outcome scores, and they completed 4 different functional tools. They completed the modified hexagon test, the triple hop for distance, and the single leg and double leg landing error scoring system. They also completed the disablement of the physically active, the Tampa Scale of Kinesiophobia version 11, the fear avoidance belief questionnaire, and the foot and ankle ability measure. So once we had all their scores, what we did was we ran them through Pearson's correlation to determine if there was any correlations between their functional scores and how they perceived their function. What we did find out was that the triple hop for distance, when normalized for weight, was correlated with a TSK-11. So individuals who did worse in the triple hop for distance also happened to have a higher fear of re-injury. For the modified hexagon test, if they took longer to complete the test, it was also correlated with number of past ankle sprains, and the disablement of the physically active, but only the physical activity scale. The less linear scoring system correlated with a higher number of previous ankle sprains, and then a fear avoidance belief questionnaire, but only the work portion. So individuals had higher number of errors on the less when they had a higher number of past ankle sprains and more fear associated with their work. For the single leg less, we found no correlation. So now I've gone through the results. What's the implications for this? Chronic instability, it's well documented that it is a very multifaceted condition. What we need to do is be able to look at the entire portion of the disease, including the psychological components as well as the functional components. If we're able to build rehabilitation techniques off of these criteria, we have a better chance of being more successful in fully rehabbing them. So it's a really exciting thing. I encourage you all to look further into it, and that's it.